Well, hey everybody, it's Paul and welcome again to my channel. I wanted to say thank you to everybody for the nice messages that you left on my last video. It was my Thanksgiving video and I didn't get a chance to reply. I got a chance though to get out of town for a few days. Wasn't for a real vacation and I didn't have much to worry about as far as COVID contact with people because it was me and Ben went down to Virginia and we worked on that property that I bought on Smith Mountain Lake. It is entirely wooded, but I think it's going to be a nice piece. Smith Mountain Lake, they dammed up a river, so it is quite steep, in areas. They had two mountains coming together as a gorge, and they dammed up two rivers that were there to make this huge lake called Smith Mountain Lake, which basically, if you have property on the water, you were at once, it's a mountaintop, so to speak. So everybody has quite steep property there. And I'll tell you, it's a real challenge. It takes a little while to be able to navigate it. I spent quite a bit of time clearing it. I'm going to do a video on my I bought one of them little Ryobi chainsaws. It's only got a little 10-inch blade. It's kind of like a little toy looking thing. I'm telling you, it did a pretty good job. We're going to get a gas one and get some more of the trees out there, some of the bigger ones. But it was really enjoyable. They had, like 2 days ago, guys were out jet skiing. I couldn't believe it. There were boats out, but jet skiing, but they were, It's quite a bit warmer down there. Usually, from what I can tell, it's usually 10 to 15, sometimes 20-degree difference, which is quite substantial. So I got a lot done. I didn't get a whole lot of video because there's not much to show, cutting down a tree, cutting down another tree, cutting down another tree. So it's a lot of work and not a whole lot of show, but it was fun. It was really good exercise for a few days. I needed an Advil IV, I was sore. The old guy ain't used to that hard kind of work, Let's look into the front, the street side. See the piles that we've cut down so far. Let's look into the water. I need some more time to get this thing out. I got my little wheelbarrow. The top sure make for a lot of work. But on the very last day after I was totally give out, Ben wanted to show me something down at the water and how the dock's going to work out. We're getting a dock done in March. And so I went down there. But there's so many trees, so there's so many leaves. And then when it's dark, there's branches that have come down, and limbs and things. So when it's dark, between the leaves covering it and in the darkness, you can't see, you lose your footing, and boom, you go right down. And man, I went down, and it was a struggle, I'll tell you. I thought they're going to have to airlift me out of there. My neighbor even saw, him and his sons were willing to come help me, but, the old guy has some pride. But, when you get that, it knocks the air out of you, or, it takes a minute to get your wits about you and get back up to standing position. So it was just those leaves were wet, slippery, and it was a good time now. I wish I had video of that. Now, that would have been a hit. But, of course, I'll cut in some of where I was cutting, and you can kind of see the land, but I didn't go down to the water at the point with the camera because I didn't want to drop that. So I'll be sure to get more footage of that in the future. But it's a nice cove, we're in a cove. So like here I'm on the main, so like instead of being on the main water where all the boats are going by and it's so noisy, we're off in a cove, which is kind of nice. It's a deep water cove, so there's no issues with that. And we're surrounded by some pretty decent houses and decent people. I gotta say, the last day we were there, it was getting pretty chilly. and my neighbor brought out some hot cocoa. Oh, boy, did that hit the spot. And get this, peanut butter cookies, just like when I was little. When I went to school, they would give them to us. And homemade, those were homemade peanut butter cookies and homemade chocolate chip cookies full of big chocolate chips. And I'm telling you, that was a lifesaver. It re-energized and revitalized me. And that was so sweet of them to do. And the neighbor on the other side actually got out his chainsaw, and he's got a fire pit, of course. And you know, you run through a lot of wood. So he decided he would help me out in my labors, and he would cut down some of the dead wood and cut it up. And I said, hey man, go at it. So whenever he gets a chance, he's going to, you know, cut some and take some, and that's going to help me out and help him out. So I can't complain. I got some decent neighbors down there. And the people walking by, you know, they want to all chat, and that's fine. I mean, I really like people, and especially want to get to know people in the neighborhood. But on the flip side, I'm only there for a few days. I want to get as much work done as I can, you know. Everybody that goes by, it's a good 45 minutes, it seems, you know, getting to know them and, you know, them asking this and that. So it's all fun, but I'll tell you what, too, it was an adventure. We just got back late last night. And coming back, we hit Blacksburg, Virginia, and it was like turning a switch. All of a sudden, the ground had snow on it. There was snow spitting down, kind of freezing rain, snow. And I'm like, oh man, going through these mountains. I'm telling you, if you've never been in those mountains, they've got some of those grades. It's 5%. I mean, you just feel that mountain pushing your vehicle down, and you got to downshift and brake. And I'm just thinking, how in the world do you do that if there's snow on the ground? And I had been checking the weather, and it said it would not snow north of Columbus. So it was funny. We were actually trying to get out of the mountains, get out of south, head north for better weather. Usually any other time it's the other way around, but it was beautiful. I wish I could have taken my time and taken some pictures, but the whole time I just had this driving need that we had to get out of those mountains, or we were going to be stuck there. So I had been take a couple snapshots out the windshield, which doesn't do it justice with the cell phone. So. But it was so pretty how the snow coated the trees, and it was just the whole side of a mountain, coated trees, just beautiful. And boy, if a guy could just stop and spend some time there. I mean, it was like the stuff you see in like award-winning photography or Christmas cards or just beautiful snapshots or posters. It was amazing. So there'll be more fun to come. Like I say, in March, I think they're putting in the dock. So me and Ben are thinking maybe even making a run down there, see how the weather is, and freeze our butts off and do a little bit more clearing. So we shall see. But in the meantime, I just want to say thanks for everybody that responded to the last video, and apologize that I didn't get back to you in a timely manner. I love the interaction. And, you know, whenever you get a chance to get a few days away, you kind of got to jump. I rarely ever get to do that, it seems. So anyways, thanks so much for checking in on the old guy. Until next time, we'll see you.